So, hello everyone, I am Anuja. I am from Legal Edge. And today we are having a session with these great people from NLIU Bhopal. I will ask them to introduce themselves to you. So, let's start with you, Vivek.
Hi, I'm Vivek Bhatkur. I'm a third year student at NLIU Bhopal.
Okay, wonderful. Akshat?
Hi, my name is Akshay Shukla and I am from the first year and I study at NLIU Bhopal.
All right, Samavi?
Hi, I'm Samavi. I'm in the first year.
Okay, Man?
Hey everyone, I'm Man Sharma. I'm in the second year right now.
Okay, Yajanshi?
Hello everyone, my name is Yajunshi Tyagi and I'm in my fourth year.
Cool. Sakshi?
Hi everyone, I'm Sakshi Ajmera and I'm currently in my third year at NLIU Bhopal.
Wonderful. Okay, so now that we have got the names and the years right, I would like you guys to tell our students the most interesting thing about the college life, the culture there, the people you meet, or the great teachers you have had, or whichever is the most impressive thing. So anyone can go first, yeah.
Can we start?
Yeah, sure, Man.
So there are a lot of things, and ma'am, firstly, I really appreciate this series which has been started by Legal Edge, because as when we were preparing for CLAT, this was something which we always wanted to know, that how life is at national law universities, and I believe that through this, students will get a fair idea about it. So that's really nice.
Exactly.
So, in NLIU, if I may say, there are a lot of things to be said about it. It is hard to sum up it in a small video, but there are a few peculiar things about every university that make it special. So one thing which I feel that stands out for NLIU is its location. The fact that NLIU is in the outskirts of Bhopal, so connectivity in itself is also not an issue, but at the same point of time, there's a very feel-good factor out there. When you go out there, it is very calm.
And green,
so that
yes.
is something which you really, And other than that, one more thing that I really like about it is its approach to the fact that there are only 4 classes in a day. At least till the pre-COVID times, we had only 4 classes in a day, from 9 to 1:30. So the university gave us enough space to really let us choose what we want to do. So different people have different interests. Somebody likes to do mooting, somebody's in the ADR, and people are in different cells. So they have enough time by themselves to choose what they want to do, and that makes things more interesting. So these are some of the things that I find really interesting in NLIU. There are various and there are many, and my seniors and my batchmates would better.
To add to this, I think the library in NLIU is the best places to be in, because its location, and you can spend time, you can be throughout the day, you can spend time in the library, and that's the best places to visit in NLIU. Plus, the way different areas are named, right? Skywalk, and then the place where the canteen is, and the guest house. Everything has a separate, an interesting part to it. So what I think is something that's very good about the campus in NLIU.
Oh, that's nice. Great to know that there are people who still find library the best place, huh? Not a dying breed.
And adding to what Sakshi ma'am said, there are the names of the
So
places
Sakshi
in our
ma'am,
college.
is that how we go here? Sorry. But I just noticed something.
Yeah, so that is how we address our seniors, and usually it's for the first few months, and after that it's usually like we are close to them, and then they also refrain, ki, don't call us ma'am, don't call us sir, and it's normal then.
I'm fine with not calling me ma'am now.
Okay.
But it develops as a habit, and then you cannot say the name, and it usually is like let me call you ma'am or sir only. That suits better. Yeah, so adding to what Sakshi ma'am said, the names of the places are really interesting. So in my first month, when I came to know that there's a skywalk, and when I saw the place, so I was like, oh really, this looks like a skywalk. So the places are named really well. There's gazebo, and the sports complex has stories in itself, and everything is if you be there, then in that 1 year I have like developed a affection with this place, and that like stands apart for me. Adding to that, I feel for myself, the mooting culture is something which I really appreciate, because as an aspirant, I used to hear a lot about mooting, that what is mooting. I will really like to learn about it. And when I came to college, I realized that for the first years, mooting is easy because you cannot do mooting. But in other colleges, I've seen my friends cannot moot in the first year. So I really feel that that is a good factor. And in the first year itself, you are getting to know how to moot, how to research. And that is something which I really like about the college.
I think especially adding to what he said, in our college, it's like they don't, like, you don't go headfirst into mooting, you're introduced to it. So the induction process is really smooth. And that's true for almost all cells or committees there are. So in the first year, you're not given any responsibility as such, because, you don't know things. And that's where seniors play a huge role. So when you first come to college, you're going through this huge shock ki, matlab, there are things that are completely different here from what you expected, because people are so accepting, the culture is so, it's, you can
people are good.
yeah, it is. So it's very different from school or from anything else you've ever been part of. And so initially you spend that time getting to know your batchmates, because you guys are lost together. You're trying to find your footing. And seniors really help that. So I think that's very special.
That's good. That's good to know that it's a comforting place, huh?
Yeah, adding to what she said, I think that one particular thing that I really like about NLIU is the fact that you can seek out help from anybody, and really everybody will help you out.
That's very reassuring.
So like I remember like when I came my first year, I mean like it's very, very reassuring. So in my first year I was very intimidated with the whole curriculum, because first year is a bit hectic. We have a trimester system, and I'm already used to the school life where we sleep in the afternoons, and everything that is taught in class is the only thing that comes in exams. All that is there. But in college, when I started in college, I remember like in my first month, there was a day when I was so sick of college that I left college in my second class itself and went home. And then I was having doubts whether should I continue with it, because I wasn't enjoying my first year. But then things started becoming easy and calm. I realized that things are very, very self-motivating. So like you have to self-motivate all the time. You have to prepare everything on your own, but you can always seek out for help from your seniors, because whatever is taught in class is something that is never used in your practical life. So for example, if you're mooting, in the first moot that I picked, the subject that it relates to was taught in a third year. So whatever is taught in our class is something which you have to always pace yourself up. You have to see the people around yourself, because I think that is what the most motivating factor was, that I saw people around me working really hard. I saw my friends working really hard. And of course, as Akshat said, the induction process of how you are introduced to mooting in NLIU is very, very inclusive. So you are taught how to moot, as well as you are tested how to moot. So you are really good at it by the end of second year.
Like a passage, right? You're not thrown into it, and seniors are really supportive.
Yeah, it's like a passage, exactly. And another thing that I really like about NLI is the alumni network that we have. So like we have been in the legal industry for quite some time. And that is what the benefit of top 5 law university is, that you generally have alumni to reach out for opportunities. I myself approached a lot of alumni and always got a positive feedback, always got a positive way around opportunities, and that really helped me out, be it mooting, be it internships, or be it writing papers, like anything, everything under the sun.
You're in the right place, you make right contacts, right?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Yajunshi, was it always like this culture that seniors are helpful, or was it different when you joined?
So when I joined, it was exactly like this. I think Akshat unintentionally pointed out by calling Sakshi ma'am that how a senior-junior relationship is really full of respect and veneration towards seniors, because they usually help you out a lot. As a first year, when you want to participate in moot competitions and mediation competitions, then you're basically competing with other colleges, and those students might be in their fourth year or their final year. So you don't have that kind of exposure or experience. So there are only seniors that you can look up to and seek help from. So I have had wonderful seniors who helped me throughout my college life. And I think, as rightly pointed out by everyone, that is one of the plus points of NLIU Bhopal. Apart from that, adding on to everything that has been said, there's a lot of exposure in terms of the different kinds of cells that we take part, like we are a part of, or different kinds of cells that keep on constituting over the years. So I have been in my college for 4 years, and there have been multiple cells that have been constituted in front of me only in a variety of legal fields. So we get a lot of exposure to various legal fields as well. So yeah.
But Yajunshi, is it just about legal fields, or is it some extracurriculars also? Because sometimes it can get too technical, right?
Yeah, so that's what I was going to come on to, that you just don't get into the law aspect of it. So for example, if I want to be a part of a mediation cell, then basically my cell is organizing events as well. So I get to learn a lot of management skills along with learning the legal aspect of it. So I guess it's a wholesome process in itself. And it's not just mediation, mooting, debating, etc. We have Virudka, which is basically a nationwide sports fest. And we have
quite famous. I've heard of that.
Yeah, and we have literary fests also. So it basically depends on a person and whichever field he wants to, or he or she wants to go into. NLIU basically gives you all those opportunities. So I just don't think it's the ambit is limited to the legal field. It basically helps you develop your personality as well.
In an all-round way. That's good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if I may add to that.
Yeah, sure.
Apart from just cells, like there's a huge cultural support in the college. So the cultural cells, the debate societies, they're so active, and they're all year round. They're keeping everybody's spirits high, because it can get tough. Like if you're always working, if there's a big mood coming up, if there's academics which are getting tough, you tend to feel a little low, especially if you don't live around here and like the only place that's yours is the hostel in the college. So I think a huge like a lot of credit goes to all these cultural cells for organizing plays and debates, and there's a dramatic society and there's photography and all kinds of things. So you can really explore yourself apart from just academics and law in college, and that's I think very rare, because often I see law schools tend to move away from debating as a concept. But I think here it's really nurtured and cared for.
That's good. So even if a person enters who's not so great at these skills, he's given a chance to polish himself, right? Yeah. I think I interrupted you, Vivek, right?
No, I'm so sorry. I interrupted you.
No, that's okay.
I just wanted to add another thing, that so there's an association of students called Puller. So basically, NLIU has
called what? Sorry, I missed that.
Puller, Puller.
Okay, Pullers.
Students of NLIU Bhopal who have adopted a village called as Mindora, where NLIU is situated near Kerwa Dam. And every day, few students, so there's a schedule that has been made up. And every day, each student goes to the school in Mindora, and we all volunteer as teachers to those students. So it has actually created a lot of social impact. So like one of my fifth year actually started Puller, and it became very, very famous. And it's like a whole adoption that the university has adopted the city education system of Mindora, and the students are running it because of the lack of financial resources. So that I think inculcates a very important value of taking everybody together. I think that helps as well.
That's good. That's good. So you're already giving something back to the society pro bono, huh?
Yeah. Adding to that, I think there is one more cell called the IDIA, which generally focuses on the CLAT aspirants. So I volunteered for the IDIA in my first and second year. So what they do is so the people who are not economically sound, we target those and we like let them know what opportunities they have in law, and they come to the campus and we teach them like you have an allotted subject, you teach that particular child that subject. So that is how we've tried to help those people out who are planning to take law in future. And so this is the cell that is IDIA, and it is pan-India, I guess, because it is in other law schools also. But,
yes.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah, quite famous. I mean,
the satisfaction that is felt after that, because learning is one thing, but the other thing that you are able to help others at this level. We are also learning at this point of time, but at the same point of time, we get an opportunity to help others. So it is a big motivation, and it gives a lot of satisfaction too.
So it's so nice to see, these motivating faces and people who are happy. And after listening to you, I've got, I guess, n number of reasons why somebody would want to be a part of this culture, right?
And also, ma'am, the fact that that cultural thing that was going on, there's something that was always around the corner. A sports fest or a cultural fest or something is always around the corner. It is something that is always to look up to, that, okay, now this thing is coming up.
So they keep you on your toes, right? But is that stressful or is that fun?
Actually, it's optional. It is basically what you want to do. So nobody is forcing you to do something. But if you like it, if you like being busy, then you can always opt for it. So it works that. So it is not that stressful.
I think you have to choose from the number of opportunities you're offered. Like at no point can you take up everything. There has to be choice made, and I think that's a big thing to say, because very often people are looking for things to do, but here you're just there's a opportunity.
You're eliminating. Okay. All right, guys. So that's wonderful. Now, of course, the people who are watching you, they want to learn how you got there, and if there is one thing that you did wrong, if there's one thing that you did right, what can that be? I mean, what is your message to people out there who want to be where you are? So, what can they do? And if in fact, if you can keep the current pattern of CLAT in mind, I hope you all are aware that the pattern has changed and it's a lot of reading oriented now. So what do you think?
I should start. So I was going through the pattern, and I feel that now I think they've reduced the number of questions to 150 if I'm not wrong.
That's
so
it,
that is something now the students who are preparing, they need to focus more on the concepts. The concepts should be more strong than what it was before, because obviously I feel the difficulty level would go to another level now. So that is one thing. And second of all, I have been seeing that there has been a lot of debate going on, and people have been questioning the consortium, that there are slight things that people want in a different way. But what I feel is that things won't change in a short period of time. Things take time. So at the same point of time, it is important for you to focus on your studies as well, because it is easy to deviate and just focus on those things. But somewhere out there, there's someone who's investing more time than you are at this point of time, and that would make a big difference.
So it is okay.
Yes, it is good to speak up. But at the same point of time, then you have to be aware that, okay, now it's time to get back to studies, and things won't change in a day or two. So you have to keep that in mind, and you have to keep the process going.
That's right.
I think to add to that,
Please go ahead.
I think to add to that, the most important thing is to be regular. So I'll tell you something, a habit that I developed during my CLAT prep, and I've continued this right now as well, is I used to make a to-do list every day, defining what am I going to do today, the subjects I'm going to cover during my CLAT prep. This is what I used to do, and I've kept this right now as well, because there are a lot of submissions that you have to make, and there's a deadline for everything. So you have to ensure that you put in that efforts in that and submit it on time. So I think that is something which every CLAT aspirant can look for.
A to-do list. Yes, that's very systematic of you, Sakshi. Yeah. All right. You can also talk about what to do, but you can also talk about what not to do. So we can learn from your mistakes.
Not to do a list on a point on my list. I think it's very important to pay attention to the subjects that you don't like, because they come up on you, and you don't realize that they are going to have a very big impact on your paper. So whenever I speak to somebody who's preparing, they often say that, like maths to hum chhod dete hain, but that's really not the way to go. And believe me, I did not like maths, but but every time I would speak to Karan sir or Harsh sir, or in fact you, ma'am, you would all tell me that you have to score a minimum of 60% in your weakest subject. And after having taken CLAT, I can assure you that is 100% true. Because for me, my weakest subjects were maths and GK, and the 2019 CLAT paper was, the deciding factors were maths and GK. So life can really put these challenges in front of you, and you really have to be ready for them, because you don't always get lucky. So I think you need to be prepared. So I used to always imagine that because very often people around you are not very hardworking. So if you're going, you can be pulled down by your surroundings. So I suggest that you have this, you imagine that there is this person who's preparing, who wants that one spot that you do, and he doesn't have to, or she doesn't have to exist. They just need to be there in your mind. And when you prepare, you need to make sure that you are at par with their preparation, if not better. Because you don't get the competition that you want in just one coaching center of a country, especially when it's an all India exam. So it could be a big shock if you were in the top 10 in your coaching, but later on your ranks are not the best, because naturally that will happen. So I think you need to give it your best, thinking about the people who are working really, really hard right now.
That's definitely. And it's sort of similar to what Man said, that you need to remember that if you're not doing it, somebody else is, right? Just because the guy sitting next to you is complacent, no reason for you to be like that. Okay. What else, guys?
Adding to what she said, she focused on the weak subjects, that you need to study the weak subjects also. I would like to say that study your strong subjects also, because it usually happens that if you have a strong command in some subject, so you usually tend to devote time to the other subjects, because you know that I have in this. But it might happen that on the D-Day, some questions of this subject also might trouble you. So in the 2019 paper, there was a question which was wrong, and my maths was good all throughout the year. So that question was wrong, but I was adamant that I'll do this. So although I had time and I did that, I tried to do that question a lot. I managed to complete the paper, but had I been adamant even for more time, it would have been difficult for me to complete the other sections. So you should have a fair idea, first of all, that if you have a strong subject, you should still practice it. And secondly, you should not be adamant that you have to be very good in that subject if you are doing the paper. So you have to analyze the paper well, first of all, because it may happen that one subject is really tough and the other sections are very easy. So if you have a very good command in that subject and you say that I will do these 20 or 15 questions if the current pattern is considered, and you stay with that particular section, and the other sections are really easy. So in the CLAT 2019 paper, the English passage was so easy. Like there was a synonym for a very easy word. There was no difficult word, and the grammatical questions were really easy. So if a person sticks to the subject which he likes and he thinks that he'll complete it for sure and does not see the other sections, it might not be a fruitful option to go for, because no one is
definitely a
testing.
strategic error.
Yeah. So
you
no
need
one is
to
testing you for your
improvise
subject.
as and when you go, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Ma'am, I feel like you need to approach the paper with humility at its best. You need to take the questions that you can do and just leave those that you can't. You can't get stuck on a question, because it can really cost you later.
Yeah, so that's a beautiful way of putting it. Humility. Yeah.
In short, you can also say you have to be confident, but not overconfident.
Not overconfident. Yes, definitely. Yeah, very precise. Vivek, Yajunshi, anything to add to this?
I think these guys have
covered everything, but
covered everything.
I think one thing that I think is very, very important and not covered is the reading speed. I think reading speed, law is nothing but logical conclusion, reading speed. It's nothing. I mean, till fifth year, that is what you will be doing. And even in class, that is what you're doing. So I think if your reading speed is nice, especially in the current pattern, if your reading speed is nice, then I don't think so you'll have a problem. But if you have some problem with regard to your reading speed and, logical conclusions with respect to what you've read, then you do have a problem that you have to work on.
Yeah.
Actually, I totally agree with that. With more focus on comprehension-based questions, I think it's more important to realize how fast or how quickly you can solve the questions. So it's really important to solve more and more mocks as you come
Yeah.
closer to the competition. And there's one thing that I learned at LE, and I'd never heard of it before, that after you take the mocks, you need to revise the mocks as well. You need to
Yeah.
go through the mocks as well, and I followed that to the T, and it really helped me, because there were questions in CLAT which came directly from my mock tests, and I didn't have to go back to those questions again in my main exam because I was so sure of the answer while writing CLAT.
All
So
the
that
time
really,
that you put in analysis, yes.
yeah, so that really helped me to analyze my mocks after taking my mocks.
One small piece of advice for the students who would be writing CLAT this year in 2020. So now not much of time is left. So if you have followed the process throughout the year, there's no reason to take excessive pressure. What matters is now how you perform on that day. So
Exactly.
I personally have seen a lot of my friends who did really well throughout the year, but just because of excessive pressure that they took, they kind of messed up the paper on that day. So it is important to be calm, focus on one question at a time, the question that is in front of your screen, rather now that it is offline. So the question that you are seeing, focus on that question and do not take excessive pressure. Otherwise, sometimes you may not be able to do as good as your capability is.
So you know it's a big deal, but then you sort of have to convince yourself that it's not that big a deal. You'll sail through, right? You have to do that.
I think after hearing what Man said, this reminds me of one thing that you shouldn't be doing, and that I absolutely did, was practice math at the day of the, practice like questions generally just before the exam. So like I was in my 12th when I was giving CLAT, and I don't know what happened after boards, but I lost my edge in various subjects. And once a subject was math, I was really good at math in the initial time, and in the end also, like I was good at it, and therefore that actually did not work that well in my CLAT exam because my mind was so frustrated. And because just before going inside the hall, I was just, I don't know, I was just seeing some math problem in a mock that really didn't help, but instead it really, like it was such a waste of time. And now that I realize, so
a similar thing that I would do, I remember I would hear some songs to de-stress myself, and then those songs, those earworms, if I can call them, they would just play inside my head all the time. Like you said, that maths problem kept coming back to me. Those songs will keep coming back to me.
That's so true. That's so true. Those same numbers came back again and again. I don't know why. And I think that just before the exam, you just need to lie down without thinking anything. Do not talk to anybody before going.
I think it depends from
not for too long, but
person to person. My approach was the complete opposite of that. I was revising till the end moment, till the last minute, so that I don't have any regrets, that I didn't leave out or waste any time. And I mean, I would have been more stressed if I would have been lying down right before the exam.
No, I mean, I mean that get up early and complete whatever you want to, just to brush off your mind, start your engines, and then take some rest for an hour, so that you're fresh at the same time and you don't have anything to, in your mind to clogged up in your brain.
I think it shows CLAT aspirants that how different students can be and their approaches can be towards the exam. So they really need to know what is suitable for them and then go for it.
And in fact, that's all what the mocks are for. You can try probably Vivek's approach and then Yajashi's approach, and probably something that you have come up with yourself, and then you can try which works for you, right? So that was wonderful, guys. I think you have been nothing but helpful, and it was so nice seeing all of you after so long. So I think after watching this video, you are going to get famous, and as if you're already not. And if your tips work, then a lot of people, when they come to your college, they know whom to meet, whom to approach. So they're going to make a beeline for you. Be prepared for that. So on that note, I think we'll call it a day here. Thank you so much to all of you for doing this favor for us and our students. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.